You head towards the door, and the dog's barking behind you grows louder and more intense. Feeling suspicious, you approach the door cautiously and decide to look through the peephole. However, the person on the other side places their hand over the peephole, blocking your view. You then call out to them and ask who they are. The person replies that they were running from the dogs and that this was the only apartment with its lights on. They say they've been wandering for years and this is the first place they've come across. They also introduce themselves as Emily and insist that you let them in immediately. After carefully opening the door, you see a woman who appears to be about your age. You let her in, but ask her to remove her coat and jacket and place any weapons she has in a corner after all. You can't trust someone you've just met after all these years. Emily looks at you with the same level of surprise that you feel as you stare back at her. A few minutes later, you ask if she's hungry and offer her some hot food and drinks. After a while, you begin to ask where she has been all this time, if there are any other survivors, and how she managed to stay alive until now. Emily begins to share her story, starting like this. Normally, I live just 2 blocks down from this building. My family and I have been living there for many years, and all of our surroundings were familiar to us. One morning, I woke up to go to work, but I couldn't reach anyone in any way. When I stepped outside and walked towards my car, I noticed an eerie silence in the area. I didn't think much of it and got in my car to head to work. When I arrived, I couldn't see the security guards at the door or any of my coworkers inside the office. It was as if everyone was on vacation. The place was empty. I called my boss and colleagues, but none of them answered or got back to me. Then, I tried calling my family, relatives, and friends, but there was no response from them either. Later, I went out into the streets to look for people. Sadly, I couldn't find anyone. After 2-3 hours with no news from anyone and no broadcasts on TV or other media, I realized I was completely alone. Since then, I've stayed at home most of the time, but I frequently traveled to different cities and villages to gather supplies. Some of these trips lasted more than 2 months. I've become very skilled in hunting and shooting, because I believe these skills are the most important for survival now. I also made modifications to my home, turning it into a very secure place. My main goal has always been to find someone else and figure out what happened. I've explored many places and tried countless things to find others, but unfortunately, I haven't found anyone. 2 days ago, I left home again to restock my supplies, but my car broke down and I had to continue on foot through the forest. I encountered many wild boars and other animals there, fighting to survive. I managed to stay alive for 2 days by hunting, but I was completely lost and didn't know which direction to go. Then, I came across a pack of dogs chasing me, and I started running as fast as I could. By sheer luck, I reached the city center and began looking for a place to hide. While running through the streets, the dogs kept following me. When one would give up, another would pick up the chase. Finally, I saw the light in this building and decided to come here. After circling the building a few times, I came up to this floor and found myself at this apartment. After Emily finishes her story, you share your story with her as well. She listens intently, her expression full of amazement and surprise. When you finish, you introduce her to your dog, and they get along wonderfully. You then tell Emily she can stay here and you can survive together. She agrees. After having a meal together, you both prepare your beds and go to sleep, even though a part of you feels uneasy. Knowing that another person exists brings you immense comfort. Now, you have someone to share tasks with, someone to help preserve your sanity, and someone to talk to. For the first time in a long while, you no longer feel entirely alone. The next morning, you went to Emily and saw that she was preparing breakfast. After enjoying a nice meal together, you started discussing what you could do next. Although Emily had traveled to many cities and places, she had never been outside the country. You told her about the possibilities of exploring other countries and what you could do together. You suggested traveling to nearby countries, and she happily agreed. Together, you packed your car with essentials, including weapons and other vital supplies, and set off on your journey. You began visiting the countries closest to yours. Places that once seemed mundane and dull when you explored them alone now felt exciting and beautiful. You realized how much more enjoyable and intriguing it was to explore and discover places with someone else. Together, you traveled across the entire Americas, growing closer with each passing day. By now, the initial distance between you had disappeared, and you were flirting with each other. However, you soon realized that it was no longer just about traveling and discovering. It was time to work on ensuring the survival of humanity and finding others if they still existed. You began using public speakers located in every city and neighborhood to broadcast announcements, providing coordinates and urging anyone who heard the message to meet at a specific location. Despite broadcasting these messages for a long time, you noticed no one responded. You then decided to visit major research laboratories in the country to see if scientists or government officials had any plans or solutions for a situation like this. Eventually, you arrived at a facility known for conducting secret experiments and space research. You began exploring the site, and at the security section near the entrance, you found a detailed map of the entire facility and the surrounding grounds. Realizing the facility was too vast to explore and that your current supplies were insufficient, you returned home to restock. You prepared for a year-long stay, packed a larger vehicle with supplies, and returned to the research facility. Once there, you settled into 2 rooms and decided to live there, dedicating yourselves to doing whatever you could for humanity. On your first day, you explored the facility to identify places where food could be prepared, potential escape routes in case of danger, and defensive strategies. After setting up practical arrangements, you cooked a nice meal in the kitchen, ate, and went to bed. In the middle of the night, both of you left your rooms and went to the caf section to chat. During the conversation, you realized how much you liked each other and decided that staying together made the most sense. The next day, you equipped yourselves with weapons and began exploring the facility in earnest. Your first destination was the research section dedicated to space and extraterrestrial life, a topic both of you were most curious about. After entering the section dedicated to space and extraterrestrial research, you immediately notice how clean and refreshing the air inside feels. The first thing you encounter are plants and seeds designed to be grown aboard spacecraft and on other planets. These plants have been carefully engineered to thrive in the environments of space and prospective habitable planets, with many yielding successful results. Perhaps these plants and seeds are humanity's preparation for a new home in the cosmos. After reading the detailed research reports in this area, you move further into the facility, finding even more fascinating sections. The next area contains advanced suits designed to help humans survive more comfortably in space and on other planets. However, these suits are unlike any spacesuit currently used by astronauts. They feature fins on the sides, similar to those of fish, small propulsion motors on the back for flight, mechanisms on the legs for enhanced running speed, and armor on the torso made of materials capable of withstanding significant impacts. In the center of the room, you find highly advanced computers used to control these suits. There are 10 suit lockers in the room, but you notice that only 9 suits are present. This indicates that someone must have worn one of these suits before humanity disappeared and either ventured out into the world or launched themselves into space. Intrigued, you decide to try on one of the suits and ask Emily to operate the control system from the computer. Although Emily initially objects, her curiosity gets the better of her, and she agrees. After you put on the suit and activate it, a variety of data displays on the visor of your helmet. The suit, equipped with a highly intelligent AI system, begins communicating with your brain, bringing whatever you think about directly into your field of vision. The suit is incredibly easy to put on and take off. Emily also decides to try on one of the suits herself. To test the suit's capabilities, you both head outside to the training grounds, where soldiers and researchers once practiced on various obstacle courses. Emily goes first, testing the suit's enhanced running capabilities. The suit supports a wide range of speeds, but achieving very high speeds requires your body and joints to be highly conditioned. The faster you go, the harder it becomes to stop or maintain balance. During her first attempt, Emily manages to reach a speed of about 70 kilometers per hour before losing her balance and falling. However, thanks to the suit's armor, she suffers no injuries. Additionally, the suit's built-in gills and enhanced power system ensure that no matter how much you run, you won't experience fatigue or shortness of breath. After spending several hours testing the suit's features, you realize that they have no real limits. The suit will perform as much as you push it to, responding directly to your intentions. Recognizing the potential of these suits, you and Emily decide to train together daily to become accustomed to their abilities and unlock their full potential. After finishing your exploration of the suit's features, you decide to press a button that sends a signal to locate all the suits, hoping to track the missing one and its wearer. While waiting for any response from the missing suit, you continue exploring the research facility. The next room you enter leaves you utterly shocked. You discover evidence that humanity has been in contact with other life forms for years, but this information was kept hidden from the public. Among the notes, you find a document explaining that communication with these extraterrestrial beings was cut off about 10 years ago, and no further contact had been made since then. The scientists who had communicated with the aliens had been working on a joint project to transfer surviving humans to the aliens' planet in the event of Earth's destruction. This project did not involve traditional spacecraft, but rather a portal-like structure designed to facilitate instantaneous travel. Peering through a small window in the door of the next room, you spot the completed portal. Intrigued, you begin examining the room in detail. As you do, both of your suits suddenly emit warning lights, and a GPS marker appears on your visor, showing a red dot rapidly approaching your location. Based on its trajectory and speed, you deduce that it could be the missing suit. As the red dot gets closer to the research facility, you prepare for a potential threat. You position yourselves in previously prepared defensive setups and aim your weapons at the entrance. About a minute later, the main door of the facility begins to open slowly. To your surprise, a man with strikingly handsome features steps inside. Upon seeing your weapons, he raises his hands and says, "Stop, please don't shoot. I'm a doctor, and I worked here. Who are you?" Noticing that he has no weapons or objects that could pose a threat, you lower your guns and begin talking to him. You share your story, explaining how the two of you met about 2 years ago. Then, you ask the man to share his story, and he briefly explains. "Before the global population disappeared, I used to work here. We were in contact with extraterrestrial beings and often benefited from their advanced technologies. However, over time, we realized that their technology posed a significant threat to us. While collaborating with them, we simultaneously began devising plans to destroy them. We had numerous promising projects, but one day, the aliens discovered our plans and confronted us. They threatened humanity, declaring that we deserved extinction and would never be the center of the universe. In response, leaders from all nations secretly gathered here to brainstorm solutions and collaborate. We developed advanced weapons, tools, and spacecraft based on alien technologies. However, none of it was enough to save us. The portal, which had initially been built to transfer humanity to another planet, fell into the aliens' control. They used it to pull the entire human population to their planet and imprison them there. I don't know how or why, but for some reason, only you and I were left behind on Earth. I took one of the suits for protection and survival, hoping that one day I'd receive an alert from this facility. Since then, I've been traveling the world, searching for others, but I haven't found a single soul. That's my story." After the doctor finished sharing his story, the three of you headed to his former office and began brainstorming ways to rescue the humans trapped on the alien planet. You suggested attempting to contact the aliens' leaders to propose a peace treaty advocating for coexistence where both civilizations could live in harmony without interfering with one another. However, the doctor dismissed this idea, explaining that after discovering humanity's betrayal, the aliens would never risk such danger again. Emily proposed using the technology at hand to develop weapons and strategies to fight the aliens and rescue the people. The doctor agreed with her, believing this was the only viable course of action. However, you were skeptical of this plan, questioning how the three of you could possibly stand against an entire alien army and how you could ensure the safety of the humans during such a conflict. Exhausted from the intense discussion, you all decided to rest and think more clearly in the morning, retreating to your rooms for the night. The next morning, you woke up and went to the cafeteria for breakfast, but the doctor was nowhere to be found, not in his room, nor in the cafeteria. After finishing breakfast, you decided to check his room again, but he wasn't there either. Finally, you headed to the research room where you first discovered the suits and found the doctor working on the suits. Upon seeing you, the doctor ran to hug you, brimming with excitement. He revealed that he had worked all night and wanted to show you the upgrades he had made to all 3 suits. He led you outside to the facility's yard, where you all put on your suits. The doctor told you to just watch as he demonstrated the new features. First, he took a highly powerful weapon, set it to fire with a timer, and positioned himself directly in its line of fire. When the weapon discharged, the bullet hit him squarely, but he remained completely unharmed. He explained that he had upgraded the suit's armor to withstand any kind of explosive or alien weapon. Additionally, in the unlikely event of injury, the suit was now capable of fully healing the body. Next, the doctor demonstrated new weapons integrated into the suits. These weapons were incredibly powerful and had the advantage of infinite ammunition. The only limitation was heat buildup during prolonged use. After 2-3 hours of continuous operation, the weapons required a short 15-minute cooldown period. The doctor then showcased all the other enhancements he had made to the suits. After spending 2 hours testing the upgrades, the 3 of you returned to the facility to discuss your plans in greater detail. The doctor enters the room containing the portal and opens a hidden door you hadn't discovered earlier, revealing the true twin portals designed for travel to and from the alien planet. Although the portals have been neglected and damaged over time, they appear repairable. The doctor explains that his first step will be to fix the portals and establish a working connection to the alien planet. However, the biggest challenge lies in determining the location of the corresponding portal on the other planet. If it's situated in a highly dangerous area, whoever steps through may face immediate capture or even death. Despite the risks, you all agree that this plan is your only option. The first step is to locate the other portal and assess its proximity to the captive humans. To achieve this, one of you must go through the portal, scout the area, and gather information. During a meeting to decide who will take on this risky task, Emily volunteers to go first. However, you firmly refuse and insist on going yourself. The doctor also offers to go, but you argue that someone needs to stay behind to monitor and control the systems. Emily will be on standby to quickly transport to the alien planet in case of an emergency. Everyone agrees on this plan, and you suit up and prepare to enter the portal, which hadn't been operational for nearly a decade, struggles but eventually activates, transporting you to the alien planet. The experience of teleportation is bizarre, but once you adjust, you begin inspecting your surroundings. Fortunately, the aliens, believing they had taken all of humanity and that the portal would never be used again, had left it in a desolate ruin. Testing the communication system in your suit, you successfully contact Earth and confirm that the connection is stable, giving you reassurance that the plan is on track. Using the suit's advanced features, you move swiftly and silently close to the ground, recording the entire area around the portal with the suit's integrated cameras. You save the footage to your backup storage for further analysis. After completing the scouting and scanning tasks within an hour, you decide it's time to return to Earth. However, a major problem arises. You can't find the return portal that was supposed to bring you back. You contact the doctor, who admits he doesn't know where the other portal is either. After a brief pause, he instructs you to approach the active portal and activate the GPS system embedded within it. This system should help locate the second portal. Once the GPS is activated, the doctor informs you that the other portal is approximately 150 kilometers south, located in a scrapyard. He notes that the area shows no signs of life, but advises you to proceed with caution. You gather everything you need and set off. Thanks to the suit's super speed capability, you reach the scrapyard in just 2-3 minutes. Carefully surveying the area, you confirm it is clear and then signal the doctor to activate the portal. Once it's operational, you step inside and are quickly teleported back to Earth. After returning to Earth, you take the equipment retrieved from the alien planet to the research room and start analyzing how to integrate it with your existing technology. You now possess extremely advanced technology, so advanced that it surpasses even the aliens' capabilities. However, your biggest weakness is your small team size. The second phase of the plan involves traveling back to the alien planet and secretly rescuing some of the captive humans to bring them back to Earth. To execute this plan, you make further modifications to your suits, significantly reducing the chances of being detected by the aliens. With the preparations complete, you and Emily step into the portal and are transported to the alien planet once again. To locate the captive humans, you set out for the alien city, which is 500 kilometers away. You move cautiously and slowly to minimize the risk of being caught. Upon reaching the city, you decide to blend in by ambushing a few aliens walking through the streets, taking their clothing and putting it on as a disguise. You interrogate the captured aliens to learn the locations of the prisons in the city, then lock them up and leave the area. Following the information you've obtained, you travel to the prisons to determine where the humans are being held. Finally, you arrive at a prison about 350 kilometers outside the city. This is the last location on your list to search. Sneaking into the prison, you begin checking the cells one by one, but find no trace of any humans. Frustrated, you contact the doctor to inform him that there are no signs of humans here and that they might be held somewhere else on the planet. The doctor, however, insists that this is the right place and urges you to look more carefully. After another half hour of searching, you discover a highly concealed door leading to the lower levels of the prison. You hesitate, unsure whether to open it, but eventually, you draw your weapons and decide to storm in. The moment you enter, you sense that something is off and an unsettling feeling washes over you. What happens next? Unfortunately, that's all for the story in this video. Don't miss the upcoming part 3 by subscribing, and don't forget to like the video to help it reach more people. Let us know in the comments how you think the story should continue. As you know, we shape all of our storylines based on the ideas and suggestions we get from you. See you in the next video. Take care.